0864. Stations your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield. Welcome to Duck Insider.
Our whole athletic department, there's a level of expectations of success.
Throw, catch, touchdown, Oregon.
He can run and slam.
He's back out for a three. Left wing is good.
In the air to center, back at the wall. It's out of here.
Really excited that we get to rep our Ducks and hopefully come back to Eugene with some championships.
Indoor track and field national champion.
Oregon repeats as the Pac-12 champion.
And for the fourth time in the last 6 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
We have so many teams that are excelling right now, and it's really fun to be a part of.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you. Tons of interviews for you today. Rob Moseley, the editor-in-chief of GoDucks.com, will be with us in just a little while, talking all things Ducks, including Oregon baseball and Oregon softball. Their fall ball schedules are getting underway. And speaking of that, we've got Missy Lombardi on the show for you tomorrow before a noon first pitch at Jane Sanders Stadium on Sunday, with fall ball getting underway. And today on the show, Mark Wazikowski, Oregon baseball head coach. We're going to talk with him about a number of returners that have come back and really bolstered the Ducks roster, and then what he likes about his team right now as the fall season gets underway. That is all on the horizon for today's show. And we do have an update as Mario Cristobal will meet with the media tomorrow. That's right. Coach Cristobal is going to meet with the media tomorrow. After practice, we will have that conversation with Coach Cristobal in its entirety leading off the show tomorrow. And Derek Radley, Oregon women's golf head coach, after their record-setting start to their season, he's going to be with us on the show tomorrow as well. What else can I tell you about? Well, tonight's the Oregon Football Coaches Show. It's a bye week, but we've got the Coaches Show coming your way. Tony Washington, former Duck and the director of player development for Oregon football right now, is going to be the guest tonight with myself and Jerry Allen. And then we're also going to do a look back on the season so far. And I know I wish that we were talking about a team that had a 0 in the loss column still, but an impressive start to the season for the Ducks. They're still a top 10 team. And now during the bye week, as they were back at practice today, what are they working on? And what do they build toward with this Cal game coming up? Next Friday, by the way, and some details on that Cal matchup coming up. And, it's just reminded me, I got to email Todd McKim. We got to get Todd McKim on the show, our view from the other side. Yeah, that's going to have to be on the program next week. So, but in all seriousness, though, tonight, Oregon Football Coaches Show, 7 o'clock, GoDucks.com/OSN for all the ways to tune in. And, man, Tony Washington, I think, is going to be a great interview tonight. A lot of stuff that goes on in the football program that you don't see necessarily on the field. We're going to talk with Tony about that, and also his playing days, and do that little retrospective you can watch on the GoDucks YouTube, the Oregon Football Facebook, as well as the Oregon Football Twitter. That is coming up tonight for the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Some big announcements coming before we talk with Rob here in just a little while. Mike Belotti. Yeah, that's right. Mike Belotti is a College Football Hall of Famer, and there is going to be a new addition to the wall right downstairs here in the Casanova Center. Fans, if you ever walk in past the entrance to the Marcus Mariota Sports Performance Center, the Casanova Center, between Autzen Stadium and the Cas, there's a wall of all of the NFL and College Football Hall of Famers. Well, Mike Belotti is going to be added to that wall. And, man, this is pretty darn cool to see. He is a member of the College Football Hall of Fame. He's the winningest coach in Oregon football history. And Mike Belotti, after being inducted to the Hall of Fame in 2014 and the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame in 2019, he'll be featured on a plaque to be unveiled at Oregon's game against Cal coming up next Friday. The Ducks won 116 games under Belotti's guidance from 95 through 08. And then, of course, he became the athletic director. And I think it's safe to say that Mike Belotti laid the foundation for what Oregon athletics and Oregon football is right now. Rich Brooks maybe started it. I think Coach Belotti would give a lot of credit to Coach Brooks. But Mike Belotti, I think, is the one that really took it like this. Chip Kelly took it like this, and now it's Mark Cristobal continuing to take it like that. I mean, I think it's amazing to look at. He took over as Oregon's head coach in '95, taking the reins from Rich Brooks after Belotti served 6 seasons as offensive coordinator, during which he groomed quarterbacks like Bill Musgrave and Danny O'Neill. The Ducks recorded 9 straight winning seasons after Belotti was elevated to head coach and played in 12 bowl games during his 14 seasons, which was, at the time, unprecedented success for the Oregon football program. He's an Oregon Athletics Hall of Famer. He is a college football Hall of Famer, and he's going to have a plaque down outside the Casanova Center now. That's Mike Belotti, and that's pretty darn special. Also, yesterday afternoon, the latest edition of the department, the University of Oregon Athletic Department honors were announced. Usually these come in conjunction with the Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, and it's really been unfortunate. The classes of 2020 and now the class of 2021 that have been announced, still working on when we're going to properly celebrate those individuals that have been inducted into the University of Oregon Athletics Hall of Fame, because we want to be able to give them the best experience possible. Like, usually there's a dinner, there's a reception. Jerry and I will get up and do a program and talk with these tremendous Hall of Fame honorees for the Ducks and the best that Oregon Athletics has ever seen. We want to be able to do that properly, and that's probably why you haven't seen as much news about that. But with the department honors, there are always a few other honors in addition to the Hall of Fame class that we like to talk about. One of them is the Leo Harris Award. The Alumni Athletic Award originated in 1967 by the late Leo Harris, the former Oregon Director of Athletics. And Leo Harris Parkway is, of course, the street that Oregon Athletics and the Casanova Center is on. His family was instrumental in growing Oregon athletics, and his honor in his name is presented to an alumni letterman on the basis of at least 20 years of achievement and service since graduation. This year's Leo Harris honoree is Josh Frankel. He may be remembered as the backup kicker who came off the bench following an injury to the starter and drilled a triple overtime game-winning field goal against USC in '99. He was a member of 4 bowl teams as the program began its ascent to becoming one of the nation's top teams. Frankel toiled on the scout team as a walk-on freshman, get this, before earning his way up the depth chart. He shared kicking duties over his next 2 seasons before that clutch field goal against USC that gave Oregon the 33-30 win in 3 overtimes. Just amazing. Frankel's most productive year came as a senior in 2000, where he made 13 of 25 field goals and 37 of 39 extra point attempts, and he was really tremendous for the Ducks in his career. Frankel finished his career with 150 points and received his degree in journalism in the spring of 2000, then returned to Oregon to earn an MBA in 2006. Frankel has worked in the financial sector since then and is currently an executive vice president at West Bearing Investments, a division of Ferguson Wellman based in the Portland area. He's a certified financial planner and portfolio manager, and Frankel has individual and institutional clients concentrated all over the Pacific Northwest. And he's been active in his community as a UO alum, Duck Athletic Fund and UO Foundation donor, the past chair of the Oregon Club of Portland. He's a member of the UO Mentor Program for current student athletes. He is all over the place. And Josh Frankel, the former Oregon kicker, has been announced as the Leo Harris Award recipient for this year. And again, it's all about that 20 years of just great excellence since graduation, and I think there's nobody that deserves it better than Josh Frankel. The next is the Becky Sisley Award, named after the university's first director of women's intercollegiate athletics, and is awarded to a former female student athlete to commemorate community involvement, career development, and support of university ideas. Michelle Shelley Nisley joined the Oregon volleyball team at a time when the program was struggling to find its feet. She transferred in from Iowa State, and since then has just been an outstanding member of the Oregon community. Graduated in 2001, and after graduation, pursued a career in the legal field, served as a deputy prosecuting attorney for 12 years in Washington State, and she is the Becky L. Sisley honoree this year. And finally, the Order of the O Award, which is a special one for me to always talk about. The Order of the O honorarium is given annually to an individual who has made a contribution to the University of Oregon Department of Intercollegiate Athletics over an extended period of time. People like Dave Williford, who is close and dear to me because he was sports information director for Oregon football for a number of years, and media relations and storytelling. Dave is one of the others that has been given the Order of the O Award over time. And now in her 17th year, this makes me so happy, University of Oregon's athletic department, Beth Campbell has been selected as the 2021 Order of the O honorary member. So remember, the Order of the O is all about those that have been varsity letter winners at the University of Oregon. Well, Beth Campbell, after starting at Oregon in the business office, then later worked as a program assistant with the Ducks lacrosse team. Campbell's been in her current role with the Duck Athletic Fund since the fall of 2004. And I'm telling you, Beth is pivotal to the success of so many different things around the University of Oregon athletics. She's also just one of the nicest people that you will ever meet. She's an Oregon native, grew up in Turner, a graduate of Thurston High School, spent several years working in banking sector before securing a position with as a receptionist and a bookkeeper with the Jake Waugh and Wheatley Law Firm. After 13 years, Campbell embarked on a new opportunity with Oregon Athletics, and boy, are we glad that Beth Campbell did. She is the Order of the O honorary member given this year. Those are the department awards. You can read more about it on GoDucks.com, but man, recognizing some truly great individuals, no doubt about it. Meanwhile, next Friday, mentioned Mike Belotti's plaque will be unveiled. One other thing that you need to know for Friday's kickoff, there's going to be a light show. Under the lights, participate in the Coming Home light show. They're also going to do it during Shout. It's really important to download and update your GoDucks mobile app before next Friday. In order to get set up for the light show, click on the menu in the top left corner of your app, click on Duck Lights, go through, enable a couple different things, hold your phone up during the light show, and it's going to be all synced up. It's going to lead to some of the best videos I think that you'll ever see. Participate in that light show coming up next Friday when Oregon takes on Cal. And when we come back, Rob Moseley's going to join us. He's fresh off the practice field. He's fresh off interviews with Oregon soccer. And I don't know what else Rob's been up to, but we're going to find out next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Exit Strategy. No matter which Toyota you choose, there's an exit from the ordinary to match. See you soon, Toyota. Visit your local Toyota dealer or Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
It's 4 a.m., Monday, and you're literally sucking baby snot through a tube because she's congested. Man, that's love. And if you love her that much, love her enough to make sure she's buckled in the right car seat. To make sure your child's in the right seat for their age and size, visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Show them you love them. Keep them safe. Visit nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
America, your children have an amazing superpower. They can help save lives by not having play dates. That's right. By replacing get-togethers with virtual play dates and video chats, they can help slow the evil spread of germs. And if your superheroes do go outside, make sure they continue their superhero wing by staying 6 feet away from others to protect everyone in America land. Find out more at coronavirus.gov. A message from the CDC and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, now Rob Moseley joining us in the Country Financial Studio. Hey, Rob, happy bye week, buddy. How you doing, man?
Hey, bro.
You good?
Good.
What have you been up to?
Chilling, man. It's a bye week.
Yeah? You were at practice today, though, weren't you?
I went out there.
Yeah. Anything exciting?
Football practice.
Ducks were.
We're at the point of the year, right? When it's like, all right, for the
football practice.
When you watch it every day, it's like, all right, obviously to the guys, they can't have that mentality, but for those of us on the sidelines, it's the repetition is. Repetition.
So the practice today, though, was outdoors. The Ducks, were they in spiders? Or
we were in the Mo, in spiders. Yep.
All right.
Yep.
See, you can tell I didn't go to practice today, so that's why we have Rob Moseley.
It probably felt like like a spider practice during preseason camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a little bit shorter, but it kind of had all the elements of a full practice.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We have to look back a little bit.
Oh, well, here we go.
If we have to. We'd love to be talking about a team that's still undefeated.
Right.
Didn't go that way. Ducks are banged up, shot themselves in the foot a few times, as Coach Cristobal referred to. Open floor, Rob. What'd you think?
Well, where to begin?
Yep.
Let's begin at the beginning.
Okay.
I think there have justifiably been critiques about the way the game started for the Ducks.
Sure.
And I think those are fair and accurate. But also, when you look at, when you think about a team that, found out late in the week that it was going to be without its center, and then found out Friday it was going to be without the Pac-12 Defensive Player of the Week, and then found out before the game it wasn't going to have its offensive coordinator there.
Right.
It is a group of human beings after all, and I think that's a lot to overcome. And you want to condition a team to overcome all obstacles and kind of maintain course, and that's the goal. And it's harder to execute than it is to say out loud.
Sure.
And so I sort of understood. I think in hindsight,
that's like a rational take, Rob. What's that?
My takes are very rarely hot. I will acknowledge that.
At least on the air.
I would be a boring radio guy for sure. Maybe I am a boring radio guy. Sorry, everyone.
No.
Yeah, I thought our quarterback was accurate in his own description of his outing. It was not his best day, and he fully owned up to that. And I always appreciate how frank he is, good or bad. What we appreciated about him 3 weeks ago is that he didn't get too high, and what I appreciate him now is he doesn't get too low, but he's very frank and forthcoming, and he was frank and forthcoming. And I think there are a few decisions that you say if they're a little different, it's a different game. And then just that, the way that last 2 minutes played out, I've seen a lot of criticism about kind of clock management, late in the game, and it's hard to say you should go into your 4-minute offense when there's 8 minutes left in the game or whatever it was when that last drive started, and then you're just pounding it down their throats the whole half, and there's no reason to think that's going to stop. And, wait until there's 1 second on the play clock when there's 6 minutes left in the game, but you're sort of imposing your will. I think that's a little bit of
2020 hindsight.
2020, exactly. Those false starts, man, I
think that was the key.
Totally. For everything else that happened, those false starts, that is entirely within your control. Yep. And that is not a place where the home fans are going to help induce penalties on your team.
Shoot, the Oregon fans induce some penalties on Stanford.
Right. The defensive penalties on that last drive, I thought at least the last one on Mikel Wright was, pretty egregious. But, those are judgment calls that you leave for someone else to make. A false start is entirely within your own hands. And, to have them back-to-back, to have one of them be a receiver,
right.
It's really, really frustrating because, all Anthony Brown had to do at that point was turn and hand it to Travis Dye or Byron Cardwell, and it was going to be 5 yards.
Right. And
the clock was going to keep rolling, and maybe it would run out before you got to the end zone, or maybe it wouldn't. If it didn't, you had 7 more points.
Right.
And so, that was really frustrating. I think this is a really good team.
I do too.
I don't think it's, a flawless team, but it's not a flawless league.
Is there such a thing as a flawless team?
No, probably not. Yeah, certainly not in a coach's eyes, that's for sure. That'd be a dangerous mindset to have. But an overtime loss against Stanford has crippled the season before in ways we didn't perceive at the time, and you sure hope that doesn't end up being the case again.
I think that's well summarized by Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. On Twitter at DuckFootball, also at GoDucksMoseley. So the bye week, now move forward. It's a little bit of a shorter week next week. So Friday Night Lights, Oregon and Cal coming up. But you got to right the ship in some ways quickly, and I think a bye week's a good time to, 1, heal up, and 2, work on a few things.
For sure, yeah. There's never a bad time for a bye week. I do think if you're the team, some of these injury situations, a bye week's not going to help.
True.
There are certainly some that we know about, some we probably don't even know about that, because they're minor-ish, that a bye week can help with. But, some of these, it's not going to make any difference. And I do think I bet if the team had its druthers, they wish they were playing this week just to get that bad taste out of their mouth.
Yeah, that could be.
then again, given Coach Moorhead's condition and given some of those other injuries, maybe they wouldn't.
And real quick, Coach Cristobal is going to talk to the media tomorrow, and I guarantee you that he'll get asked for updates. We don't have any updates, but he'll probably have some tomorrow.
But yeah, I think a Friday night game, soon after school has begun, portends a pretty rowdy environment.
You don't say.
And I think that bodes well for kind of welcoming this team back to the pantheon of teams playing well.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So the Ducks and Cal, we'll do a little more preview with Rob on that coming up. But I want to ask you about your story on GoDucks.com about Eric Williams.
Yeah.
If you didn't get a chance to read it, because basketball season is upon us. The Ducks are going to start practicing here, Monday? Is that right?
They started
Monday. Yeah, that's right. So they started Monday. So the voice of the basketball team has not yet been to practice. My bad. But the team, though, I mean, look, this
you're not the voice of basketball practice. You're the voice of basketball games. So you gotta. Yeah.
This is true. You gotta warm up to it. Right. Yeah. This is true. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be here before we know it.
Yeah.
And this is an awesome non-conference schedule, by the way. The defending national champs in Baylor are gonna be here. The Ducks, it's unfortunate they don't get to make the trip to Maui. Instead, the Maui Invitational is going to be played in Vegas. But there's also the only other road non-conference game is actually in Portland against BYU. I mean, it's an awesome non-conference schedule at Matthew Knight Arena. And I think Eric Williams is a huge key to this season. I mean, a guy that you wrote about for fans that didn't get a chance to read your article yet. Pretty cool story.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line is, and he has graduated, just to set this up. The bottom line is getting guys diplomas. And I'll be the first to admit that before I worked inside the department, coaches would say that, players would say that, and I'd sort of roll my eyes a little bit. But the more you're around the totality of an athletics department and you realize that, the goal for every single, student athlete in every single sport is to go pro and make $1 billion doing that. But, and you sort of know logically that very few have that chance because you see the numbers. But when you're around all these kids all the time as we are, it really drives home what for a vast majority of these kids just, graduating, getting your diploma, completing your course of study, and heading off into the world, how, huge a step that is. And you get to know kids, not to suggest Eric is this specifically, but for kids, just how meaningful that is based on, the background they grew up in, kind of what their, family history is in terms of, higher education or not. And, it really does. It's a significant thing. Every kid. I mean, there's kids that come in different sports, and I see fans, if they're not X kind of player production, then it's like they get considered almost like a waste. And it's like, no, if we can get that kid a diploma, what that's going to mean for his or her future and what the doors will open to them in life. So it's just every single one of them, getting them that diploma is such a big deal. And yeah, just really proud of Eric because he's a really good kid. He's a nice kid. I don't think he's had it very easy. He's a guy who said, his family history, just for whatever reason, not many people who had gone to college, much less graduated. And then he transferred schools and he was in a program at Duquesne, this integrated marketing and communication program that, it didn't overlap well with a particular program here. And so he had to kind of change his course of study, mid college career too. And just balancing athletics and academics is a different kind of challenge for different kids. And, so for him to buckle down, 24 credits he completed this summer.
Pretty cool.
There's 3 4-week summer terms. He did 8 credits each of those. He had a couple different math classes that were requirements for his degree that he said were particularly challenging that he had to get through. So the guys at the Jaquo Center, his particular learning specialist, just huge kudos to them for helping Eric. But, ultimately he's got to finish the work, complete the work, and he did. So so now, what most fans, if we're being honest, care about is what kind of player is he going to be. And, I think to have that load off, he talked about it, it's not necessarily, extra practice time or this or that. For him, it was recovery time.
Yeah.
He wants to keep, keeping your body fresh is such a key, particularly for somebody who's, quote unquote old like he is now, for
quote unquote.
I think, it's not that his body's wearing down. It's that he has more of an appreciation that because of age, he has more of an appreciation for just how valuable, treatment and recovery and rest and nutrition and sleep and all that is. So, He feels like, he'll still have to complete some coursework in fall to stay eligible for the whole season, but I don't think it has to be a full load. He's, he can devote even more time just keeping his body fresh because he wants to be a guy who every single game brings it, and he knows he's been a little up and down in his career. So, he can't the kind of athlete he is and how versatile he is. He's a Dana Altman player to a T.
Oh, yeah.
And so
6 rebounds a game for a guy his size.
Yeah. So, and he can shoot some nights he can hit a couple threes for you and get to the basket. He can defend. So really excited to see what that means for him. But, excited to check in 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm. That's what it's all about.
He wants to be a coach,
right, yeah.
There's a lot of college jobs you can't get unless you have your diploma.
Right.
So now suddenly that goal, sure, again, he wants to make $1 billion playing in the NBA, and we all want that for him.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know the odds too. And, his backup plan is to be a coach. And, there's jobs now that that are within his grasp that wouldn't have been if he hadn't put in all that work over the summer and finished his degree. So just huge deal for him.
Awesome stuff. More on that on GoDucks.com, the latest from Mr. Moseley. I have another few bullet points, but we're out of time.
I was ranting, sorry.
No, that was actually
really proud of Eric.
That was great. I mean, how can you not rant about that, and how can you not just go on and on about that? That's what it's all about.
Totally.
Yeah. He's Rob Moseley, editor-in-chief, GoDucks.com. Back with you next week. We're going to talk with him because, Oregon's back to football, but Rob will also probably be covering some soccer and volleyball this weekend too.
Well, I'm going to soccer, but then I'll be on the Rogue River Friday to Monday.
Rough life.
So, yeah.
Rough life.
Yeah.
Enjoy the trip.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, man. We're going to come back. Mark Wazikowski, baseball, fall ball. We're going to talk with him next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Hey, so what's a great way to spread awareness that driving high is illegal everywhere? A catchy song, of course.
You can run, but you can't drive high. You can run, but you can't drive high.
Friendly reminder, don't drive high. If you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union here in the Country Financial Studio. Yesterday, got the chance to catch up with Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wazikowski. The Ducks coming off a great season with Coach Waz and a fall ball schedule now that is underway. They're in fall practice. We got a chance to catch up with Mark Wazikowski here in the Country Financial Studio. Coach, hey, thanks for being here. We got the glove ready for you. I hope it fits right, and it's not broken in though. I'm going to be honest with you. It probably needs a little oil.
Well, we've moved on from the old school Nike glove.
Right, yeah.
And we love our relationship with Nike, but I don't know that they're really in this business anymore.
Right.
This is a quality piece, though. Boy, archived.
So
nice.
I'm telling you, you end up with that kind of stuff on the desk. It's like a little bit out of style because you guys aren't using it because you're using the fancy new Rawlings gloves. I saw they just got delivered not that long ago, right?
Yeah, the Rawlings Gloves. I don't know. If they're naming stuff after Rawlings, they've got the Gold Glove Award, and I've always used Rawlings. I think it's a great product, a great glove, and it's the best in the business, and our guys love it, so they've been great to us.
Are you a guy that has gloves from like all throughout your career? Or do you go through them quickly? I mean, like, do you have like an archive of your own gloves from over the years?
No, I don't understand. The new generation gets a glove like every year, and I don't know. For me, it was just always you had one glove, you broke that one glove in, and man, when you got it right, it was just the glove you used, and you used that glove for a long time. I actually remember boy, there was a time when when I left that glove somewhere, and I still don't know where, and I lost it. And, my dad was like, wow, you lost your glove. Wow, what are you going to do now? It wasn't a hurry up, let me go buy you another one.
You played barehanded for a while.
You did. Yeah. And you just didn't have a glove. Yeah. And you were like, wow, okay. But it taught me you take care of your stuff. And, the one glove concept coming up, I still love it. I still have my favorite glove at my house. It was broken in, as well as I thought it
needed
could,
to be.
Yeah, for my hand. And I don't know. I didn't like the feel of, wow, new gloves. They're always so stiff. And, there's a break-in period. And there's a number of balls you got to catch before you actually get it to where you want it. And so the kids now that need a new glove every year, I'm a little scratching my head on, but to each his own. That's what they do.
This is what we learned today on Duck Insider. So Waz, I got to ask too. I mean, we got the baseballs. I don't know if you saw. We got the NCAA official baseballs with the O on them. Are these the ones you guys use in the game? Would that be game legal?
No, this one's got a little bit raised seam still, so this is probably a 2019 ball.
Hence why it ended up in the studio. See?
Yeah.
See?
No, this is a 2019 ball. It's a good ball, but I think the one that they used in 2020 and the one we're using right now in 21, you're talking about a little bit of a flatter seam ball, a little bit of a harder ball. They've mimicked it after AA baseball. And so the same ball they're using in AA is what we're using in college right now. This one was a true college ball that was not what they were using in the minor leagues.
How much of a difference does that make? How much do you as a coach pay attention to some of that stuff as the balls change over the years in baseball?
Well, they either go further or they don't go as far.
Right.
They either spin more or they don't. And seam height is a reason for it. And then whatever they put inside of these things, if you cut them open, when they start changing however they make them, it equals the result you see on the field, either ball going further or not going as far and spinning more or less. And, there's results in that, sometimes unintended consequences of maybe making a ball a flatter seam ball or what have you. But I'm really happy with the product that they roll out there right now. It's really nice.
So here we are. I thought that we were just going to talk about your roster, and we've learned a lot about baseball equipment in the first 3.5 minutes. So thanks, Waz. Mark Wazikowski joining us. Tell us about your offseason. After the season came to a close, what was the focus for you and your staff getting out recruiting? It was nice to be able to do that again, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we were on the road every day. I spent parts of 3 days in Eugene during the summer, and that was it. The same thing goes for my staff as well. We spent our time on the road recruiting because we really felt like that's where we needed to spend our time in front of the people, and especially coming off of a COVID year, we couldn't see anybody. It was all Zoom and it was all that kind of stuff. And, what we found out really quickly was, these masks, interesting. The country, there was a lot of places, especially, we travel a lot to Georgia. We travel a lot to North Carolina. We travel a lot to just different places across the country. And each and every place had a different feel for even the mask issue. And what we do when we went recruiting, whether they were required at the ballpark, not required. Bottom line is with all that stuff, we were seeing baseball again. And we were around the guys, we were around families, we were around people again. The baseball wasn't played exceptionally well at the beginning of the summer.
Really?
And we saw them get better throughout the summer, the more they played. But it was just great being back out, being in front of the people. And the biggest objective we had was, coming off of the COVID shutdown where we couldn't recruit, is to be in front of the people. And we, honored our promise, I guess. Yeah.
I think it's interesting you bring up that there was probably a little rust for everybody getting back out to the diamond, right? I mean, that's got to be tough for young people. How has that gone when you talk with all these young people across the country when you're trying to recruit them? Are they just so thrilled to be back out there?
Yes. And then, interestingly enough, then, it goes back to, well, whatever's easy you take for granted sometimes. And, you try to keep that fresh in people's minds, and in our minds specifically as coaches, how lucky we are every single day to be out there with our guys or on the road recruiting. And instead of pissing and moaning about, oh, we got to wake up early, or we got to do this, or we got to do, hey, shoot, we saw what it was really like when we couldn't do anything. And I'm not interested. My vote on that is not interested in all those feelings, way more interested in just getting a chance to connect with people again and seeing how these young people get a chance to develop and grow. Baseball's always been a game where, it reveals character and it helps build character. And without that opportunity, you're losing the opportunity for people to grow.
Sure.
And I guess when I keep it as simple as that, I'm a big fan of what we got a chance to do this summer, and that's go out and recruit and see young people sweating and getting after it and playing hard and failing a lot and having successes and learning from it all. It was a lot. It was a great mental therapy, if you want to call it that, whatever.
Sure.
It was just awesome being out there recruiting.
Now, a lot of those new recruits here on campus. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in fall practice. What do you see from your team so far?
Yeah, some. The future groups, the 22, 23, and beyond groups are going to be some of the high school players and stuff like that. You'll see those classes be heavier with high school kids. The earlier groups, specifically this class that's on campus, is more or less dominated with a few high school recruits, yes, but also a fair number of transfers. And so the transfers, and that's why is it done that way? Well, we just took the job. And
right.
So the recruiting cycles that are done right now, the recruits are pretty much made their decisions a couple years out, at least one full cycle out. And so the most premium talent that's available are the youngest players in high school right now. Mm-hmm. And so, you have the ability to make an impact on high school recruiting, probably not so much on the senior class when you first take a job, more on the younger groups, and then, and that's what we were able to do. So we needed to supplement those classes with some older, seasoned players that were available through the transfer process, and we had some success with that clearly this offseason.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the newcomers in a moment, but how about some of these returners, Coach? I mean, you got some big-time names coming back, particularly in your pitching staff. There's going to be some competition there, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, you got the best closer in the league, and maybe the country, Colby Summers. He returns. Great to have him back. Andrew Mosiello was a lockdown guy in the bullpen last year. He had like 50 strikeouts in 30 innings. I mean, he was a dude back there. He's going to get a chance to do what he wants to do in that start this year, which he did all summer in the Cape Cod League and was an all-star. And so Andrew's back. Caleb Sloan, who, the scouts are all over. He's got a premium arm and one of the best arms in the entire country. He's back with us amongst, many others. You really do. You got Isaac Aon, who's had as good of a young arm last year as anybody in the entire country. He's back this year. And R.J. Gordon was our fourth starter last year. He logged significant innings amongst several other guys as well. And so, yeah, there are some names on that mound, even though the top 3 weekend rotation guys have moved on. You've got a lot of guys that do return that add some seasoned looks out there, which is really fun right now to watch in scrimmage.
Continuing our conversation with Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wazikowski in a moment. Fall ball, baby! The Diamond Sports are here, and they are back. And we're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Is that the sound of an ooey gooey cheesy crunchy slice of P-I-Z-Z-A? Obviously, but as good as that sounds, we think it can get even better. Oh yeah, that's the sound of a freshly opened fizz-filled Pepsi. The only thing that can take this flavor medley of crunchy dough, mouth-watering cheese, and savory sauce to the next level. How about another bite? Pepsi and pizza sound like a match made in heaven and taste even better. Pizza, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
If a natural disaster comes knocking, how prepared is your family? You can't just close the door on earthquakes, floods, or hurricanes and hope they go away. That's why it's important to make a plan now. Ready.gov/plan has the tools and tips you need to prepare your family for an emergency. So if disaster shows up at your doorstep, you'll be ready. Visit ready.gov/plan and make a plan today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Mac and Rob Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mac in the Country Financial Studio. We continue our conversation with Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wazikowski. You just heard him talking about the pitchers heading into this fall season, and now a lot of battles around the different position groups on the diamond, and a lot of big-time names that you'll want to hear from Mark Wazikowski. How about in your infield? What's the competition like? There's some returning names and some newcoming names there.
Yeah, well, you pretty much the only guy you lost on the infield, big name, Gabe Matthews, big name. But then the other three spots, those are returning names. You also recruited and have some other players that are competing for jobs with those guys. You know, Drew Cowley is a transfer from Cal Poly Pomona. He's really opened some eyes. He had a tremendous summer, left-handed bat, plays shortstop amongst all the other positions. Was a tremendous player at Cal Poly and then went off in the summer league as well. You know, but he's here on campus. We've got a transfer by the name of Will Riley. He transfers in from literally like Timbuktu U in the middle of nowhere, Montana Billings or something, but was a player of the year in that conference, and he's really brought a positive, energized type of a mentality. Really good player. He's a an Eastern Australia kid. He's really neat. And then a highly, highly coveted kid, out of high school. And this last offseason, Brendan Malone comes in from South Carolina, turned a lot of money down out of high school to show up at South Carolina. And now he's here. He's an infielder as well. Tremendous power, very physical kid. And almost even looks like a clone of Aaron Zavala in the face.
Really?
Yeah, and physically as well. Both are, Aaron and this kid, Malone, are really physical kids that – we look for him to compete for starting time as well.
Well, you touch on guys like Aaron Zavala and Gabe Matthews. I think a lot of Oregon baseball fans are like, whew, yeah, that's pretty cool. Seeing those guys among others in the pro ranks now, that has to be cool for you in your program, right?
Well, yeah, and especially when Gabe Matthews, he goes from college baseball player to finishing season in AAA.
Yeah, how about that? Pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, that means you're good.
Yeah.
And Aaron Zavala, only going from a guy that wasn't even ranked in anybody's top 500 last year of college players going into the draft, and he's the first pick in the second round, and he's slotted at $1.2 some odd million signing bonus. That's earned. And boy, I'm proud of those kids. Kenyon Jovan just had a tremendous career at the University of Oregon. Pitching All-American, hitting All-American. He gets a chance to go out and play pro ball amongst others as well. Hunter Bro, Robbie Alstrom. I mean, these kids, Colin Kafka. I mean, these kids really worked hard and worked their way into last year. During this time of year, people were saying, wow, what are you going to do with the pitching? Boy, nobody's got any experience. And then to have Robbie Alstrom contending for Pac-12 Pitcher of the Year award. You've got all three of those guys that were pitching in a regional, home regional final game versus LSU. I mean, that's big time, and nobody predicted that would happen, and it did happen, and it's a credit to those young people amongst others.
It was an awesome ride, and a credit to the coaching staff too. I think that it's a team effort, right? I mean, that's what this is all about. It's all about the program.
It's about the program. That's right.
What about your catching position? You return Jack Scanlon, bring in a few new guys. Josiah Cromwick's back. A good competition at the catching spot.
Probably our thickest on the entire fall right now. You got Josiah Cromwick, tremendously talented kid that was injured for the lion's share of the year last year. Jack Scanlon, got injured in postseason play last year. He's on the mend, and he'll be back in the mix. And then you've got a a young man, a local kid, an Oregon kid that's now transferred back in from Arizona State, Logan Postian, tremendously talented kid that was sidelined by injuries last year. Second-rated player in the state of California last year, Anson Arose. Anson is a tremendous talent, switch hitting catcher, Northern California. Their family are like family of rock stars, but they're rock stars in the rodeo world. Tough people.
Really?
Yeah. Oh man, mom and sister. I mean, they're roping calves and cattle and just people that really have a work ethic instilled in this young man. And he's here on campus. He was rated the second best catcher in the entire state of California last year. He's a freshman. And it's Sam Olson returning as well. He's been tremendous from a leadership standpoint. He's now a graduate at the University of Oregon, earned his college degree, and he's still here for us as well. Offensive kid, and that whole group of players, amongst a couple other even, are in the mix for that catching job, and boy, it's a competition like crazy.
I got to ask you about the outfield, too, as we go through the positions. You bring back guys like Tanner Smith and Anthony Hall. Those are big-time names to bring back. What's it like in the outfield in the fall here?
Well, you got those two kids, and then, Bryce Betcher went away for the summer, and he got really physical. He spent a lot of time in the weight room, local kid from South Eugene High School, and, boy, he looks fantastic. He's running around center field better than anybody right now, and Anthony Hall wants to be the center fielder, and, boy, that's tremendous if he could be, and I'm glad that Bryce and Colby Shade are pushing him like crazy to be the center fielder. That's a heck of a competition in center field right now between those three players. Anthony went away to the Cape Cod League, had a tremendous summer with the bat and just with his overall play. Same thing with Betcher and with Colby Shade. Those three guys are very, very talented players. With the departure of Zavala in the outfield, you would assume, and it's tough to assume, but you would assume that Smith and Hall would secure two of those spots and there'd be an opening in one of those spots. And that's accurate to say, at least in the early returns.
I haven't yet gotten a chance to talk with you since the Pac-12 announced the formation of the Pac-12 baseball tournament. I know that's been a long time coming, Coach. What's your take on that? What do you like? What do you not like? I don't know. What's your opinion on the Pac-12 baseball tournament coming this year?
Yeah, I think it's great. Last weekend of the year, the committee that's picking the field of 64, those people are sitting in a room, and just, in that room there's TV screen, and all those TV screens have traditionally had the conference tournaments on those screens.
Sure.
Well, what have they been looking at from the Pac-12 or 10 conference back in the day? They would be looking at a game of some sort of significance in the league, but it would be a regular season conference game. It would be Oregon at Washington State or something like that, without that attraction of a off-site venue, a venue in a wonderful stadium where there's a true conference tournament champion, all the energy involved with that. So I think the Pac-12 has missed out on that last weekend of the year when the committee's in that room discussing who's in, who's not in, promoting teams that are bubble teams, securing one seeds, national seeds, all that kind of stuff. Pac-12's now on that wall with a conference tournament right next to the SEC, ACC, Big Ten, all the other major conferences. I think it's a wise move. I think it's a move that's needed to happen. And we'll see how well it plays out in terms of getting additional teams in postseason play. But I'm a big fan of it. I think it's going to be great.
And Coach, I love it just from like a fan's perspective. I love it because you get that tournament atmosphere a week earlier, right? I mean, that's what it's supposed to be all about. You got to have that postseason baseball feel. I love it. I hope that a lot of fans are able to come out and see it because that's what it's all about, right? It's the postseason.
Well, and it's in Scottsdale. They say Scottsdale's a fun place to be, and hopefully the fans will like that, and decide to come out and join us. And I think it'll be a great spot as well because there's so many sites down there to play. I think the biggest thing now is let's intertwine this thing with what's going on the youth level. Let's get all those young eyes in the seats to where they're playing tournaments in that valley at that time, and they're at the Pac-12 tournament. There's tickets available to where those people can come and see great Pac-12 play championship level baseball at the end of the year, to where those kids now dream and continue the dream of being Pac-12 players, and they see it front and center. It's on the stage. And there are, in terms of the major conferences, the Pac-12, when you look at the Pac-12 national championships, it's still more than twice as many as every other conference combined. It's a real deal in college baseball, and now it's going to be on that stage on the last weekend of the year. I'm a big fan of it. I think it's a win.
Before I let you go, the schedule ahead, what's the rest of the fall look like for your squad? How many more practices you got left? You going to be able to do anything alumni-wise? I don't know. What's the schedule ahead for you guys?
Yeah, we got to play alumni golf tournament. We'll do that on the Halloween weekend.
Okay.
We got a lot more practices left. We'll scrimmage 3 times a week, and just a lot of hard work. We've got a lot of development hours in front of us that we get a chance to work with our young people, and that time is just precious. We need to nail every minute of that time. The days of just the group practice of showing up for 3 hours as a group and going through stations or whatever at practice are dead. And we're really doing more individual stuff with these guys to where they get the time that they feel they need to get confident and develop and hopefully turn them into the type of seasons we just witnessed with some of these players, the Zavalas. And I mean, those kids really invested and had tremendous years, and it was because of what they put into it.
Yeah, it starts in the offseason. There's a lot that goes on that we don't see on the field till you guys get to PK Park coming up in February, which I'm looking forward to. And by the way, at least right now, Coach, it looks like February 25th. That's still slated for a home opener, we think?
Oh, there's no doubt about it.
I'm looking forward to it. Who's going to win the World Series?
Major League Baseball, not as big a fan of Major League Baseball. I'm a big college football guy. I love college football, and so that's, if anything other than baseball is on my mind, it's college football. And, go Ducks. We're looking for the Ducks to have a bounce back, and let's get it back going again.
I love it. Mark Wazikowski, Oregon Baseball head coach. Waz, thank you. I really appreciate the time, and thanks for being here, and good luck the rest of the fall. We'll catch up with you again soon, I'm sure.
Great. Go Ducks.
Mark Wazikowski, I love catching up with that guy, Coach Waz. And the Ducks, I always look forward to the alumni weekend for Oregon baseball. That's the sport that I have worked with the longest, at least in this capacity. The first sport that I called play-by-play for here at Oregon was Oregon volleyball. And so that sport and then Oregon baseball, because I've been with the program calling play-by-play for their games for the longest of any other program. I know all those guys now, and all these guys that are playing in the bigs, and they come back, and it's just so cool every time that alumni weekend is going on. So I'm really looking forward to it this year, especially because Ducks, like a lot of programs, haven't been able to do that for Oregon baseball over the last few years because of COVID. But now it looks like they're going to be able to do an alumni weekend, which that's what it's all about, man. That's pretty special stuff. Speaking of Diamond Sports, Melissa Lombardi, we're going to talk with her tomorrow on the program. We actually recorded the interview with her this morning, and we'll have it for you tomorrow, talking a little Oregon softball because fall ball, and it's open to fans for free at Jane Sanders Stadium Sunday at noon. You're going to have to pick between softball, volleyball, and soccer all at noon on Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I gotta make my decision on that one. When we come back, some great updates on Oregon women's golf as part of your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. The Pac-12 Golfer of the Month is a Duck. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear past, present, and future football watchers, football is back! So consider this your official excuse for always putting football watching first, courtesy of Pepsi. That haircut appointment? Seeing the in-laws for the first time in ages.
It's been so long!
Nope, sorry Susan, not if it's on Sunday. Long story short, after the year we've all had, we think you could use a little football watching. So crack open a Pepsi and cheer your football watching face off. With love, Pepsi. Made for football watching. That's what I like.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, son. How are you feeling?
I'm fine, Pops.
What's on your mind?
I can't explain it. Navigating without a compass, eyes waiting, started to wonder. Metamorphosis, the loss of who you thought you was.
When your kid can't find the language, help them find the lyrics. Listen to the Sound It Out album and get tips and tools to start a conversation at sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by Ad Council and Pivotal Ventures.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, But you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Tonight, the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Tony Washington's going to join us. Not a coach, director of player personnel. But, man, he has a lot to do with the success of this Oregon football program. That's tonight, 7 o'clock, goducks.com/OSN, where you can tune in for the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Oregon Women's Golf, as we get bringing your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Team closed its second tournament of the fall with a 5th-place finish in the Windy City Classic on Tuesday afternoon. Ducks ended the tournament with a 35 over 899. But I'll tell you, this is a tough course. And what's called the Windy City Classic, you'd expect maybe there's some harsh conditions out there. Sounded like the Ducks actually didn't play their best, Derek Radley said. Still finished top 5. Not bad, huh? That's pretty good. Speaking of Oregon women's golf, Cynthia Liu has been named the Pac-12 Golfer of the Month. The sophomore has been named the Pac-12 Golfer of the Month following her historic performance in the season opener at the Mason Rudolph Championship. Absolutely stellar. Led the Ducks to a dominant team victory in Tennessee with an individual program record for 54 holes with a 17 under par weekend to win the individual title. How about that? By 6 shots. Liu's 17 under showing was 5 strokes better than the previous program record. A Taiwan native, Liu opened the tournament with a 6 under 66 and took a 2-shot lead in the final round after firing 4 under 68 in the second round. And she closed it out with an incredible run of 42 consecutive holes without a bogey. And she also led the field with 19 total birdies for the weekend. Cynthia Liu, the second Duck ever to earn the Pac-12 Golfer of the Month honors, and the first since Caroline Inglis claimed the award in April of 2015. Congratulations to the Pac-12 Golfer of the Month. She's a Duck in Cynthia Liu. Taking a look ahead at the schedule for you, Oregon Football Coaches Show tonight, and then tomorrow, 7 o'clock on Pac-12 Network, the Ducks will face Arizona at Pape Field. Oregon soccer in action in the first of 2 against the Arizona schools this weekend. Thursday, 7 o'clock for Oregon soccer. They will then be in action at noon against ASU on Sunday at Pape Field. Tickets are available. GoDucks.com. Come on out and support this Oregon soccer team that is on their way to the first postseason in program history. Knock on wood, but they're trending well right now with where they're sitting in the RPI. Oregon volleyball this weekend. The Ducks, 7 o'clock against Cal on Friday, and then noon on Sunday. Oregon volleyball hosts Stanford in a battle of a pair of national championship contenders. I don't think that's outside the realm of possibility to say that. The Ducks for Oregon volleyball, it's on Pac-12 Network, but come on out to Matthew Knight Arena. Tickets are available 7 o'clock on Friday and noon on Sunday. Finally for the Ducks, how about Oregon women's tennis? They're up in Seattle. The Husky Invite. Can't believe it. We're back to Oregon tennis as well. Pretty darn cool. That's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. Cafe Yum restaurants throughout Oregon and Washington. And menus and nutrition info are always at cafeyum.com. See you for the Coaches Show tonight. Missy Lombardi joins us tomorrow.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt